But like I said, I make music for everybody. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to be put in a box. And, they are more, they take more of the female role in the bedroom. Because I think bottoms will agree. Like, we almost out of tops. Like, I need some help. You know what I'm saying? I need some help out here. You hear me? I'm always gonna be raw in that cut, man. I mean, that's just me.
I'm hitting everybody in existence. Came to get it all. You see the writing on the wall. If I'm Naruto in the water, I'm Sasuke before the fall. Luffy after the hockey. I'm Zoro drinking the sake. Try to fight me, I get brocky like we Spiros and Brawley. You gonna need the HMs, the TM.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark. Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkadt. And on today's episode, we're going to do things a bit different. If you're a listener of this podcast, you know that I'm a huge fan of just geeking out and nerd out the different things. And I think if you are a professional, if you have something that you are a professional in, something you're making money in, something you are passionate about, you are a nerd in that subject. And today, I have a very special guest because every guest is special. Local Atlanta rapper, local hip hop artist, someone who's changing the game as we speak. I'd like to introduce Mookie the rapper.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Mookie. You know what I'm saying? Originally from East St. Louis, raised in Afghanistan, Indiana. If y'all ain't know what Afghanistan is, Yes, I'm from them trenches. I just want to get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, inspiring artists and stuff like that. I do this for the community. I do this for everybody. I really don't like to box myself in too much, but at the end of the day, y'all who I do it for. You know what I mean?
Before we get into the interview, just because, like I said, I'm a nerd and I like to nerd out the things. Obviously, I think you're a nerd because you got to be a nerd to kind of to do what you do in the music industry. If I'm correct, you might be able to point me in the right direction. You kind of got to be like a nerd in some sense to be a rapper, to be a sound engineer, to create music and have some level of passion and creativity into it. So I got to ask you, outside of music, because we're going to get into that, what else do you geek out to? Play video games? You reading comics? You watching any TV shows? Any movies?
Well, shoot, I'm a movie head all day. I'm a movie buff, so I like to watch movies. That's like my go-to outside of music. I do with cars and stuff like that. I do customizations on cars and stuff. That's kind of my way of gambling. I like to get them, looking like nothing and flip them, Outside of that, what else can I consider myself nerdy about? Shoot, really ain't too much outside of that. I do game. I'm just now starting to get back into gaming. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, when I had a son and, he was playing the game, I kind of felt a little childish for some years, but I'm just now getting back into it. Being that he grown now, he finally got the way. So,
okay, what games you like to play when you get the chance to play?
Lately I've been trying out like Hogwarts. I really ain't no fan of like Fortnite, all that. I'm old school. I like 007 type stuff. So, but definitely messing with Modern Warfare still to this day. Kind of just kind of old school with it. Newer games and stuff like that. I've been playing Watch Dogs. I'm more of a race car game player, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely messing with Need for Speed all day, more than anything. GTA, I'm kind of waiting for the new one to drop, if it ever drops ever. We all been waiting forever for it. But yeah.
You ain't lying about that.
Yeah.
Definitely not lying about that. Man, GTA 6, that need to come out ASAP. What are your top 3 games that you like to play? You said you wasn't really into it when you was younger, but now that you are, what do you play like?
I would say my top 3, even though I just started playing it, I'm going to have to say Hogwarts just because, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot in there. You never could get bored with it right off the back anyway, unless you just play the game all day. Outside of that, BioShock. That's always been a favorite, still to this day. You know what I'm saying? BioShock is one of my favorite. And Need for Speed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Definitely Need for Speed.
What house did you get sorted in Hogwarts?
Slither.
Obviously.
Yeah, Slither. I was, I guess that was, yeah.
I'm guessing no complaints. No complaints. You happy?
I guess. I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. That's all that matters as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned movies. What type of movies you like to watch, or what are your favorite movies?
My favorite movies, I have to say, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite. If we're talking about old school, I would say People Under the Stairs, A Never Ending Story. Them was my type of movies. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Nowadays and stuff, I'm a real big fan of anything that got like witches, wizards. You know what I'm saying? Superheroes. I can't really choose between Marvel and DC. I'm that person because I like them both. But anything in that that area, definitely enjoy comedy movies. Anything with anybody getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of violent action and stuff. That's my thing. Horror movies, they be funny. They be real funny too.
So it sounds like that there's a nerd in there somewhere. There's a nerd in there. You may be from Afghanistan, whatever you said, but if you was a nerd,
It's Afghanistan.
like, come on, you like Marvel and DC?
Yeah, most definitely. Because I feel like Marvel been taking over on the movies. They've been holding it down. DC been trying to catch up, so people, really don't mess with the DC movies as much. And you know how everybody's spoiled; they want the storyline to go how they want it to go. But on the outside of that, DC been killing with the animated for years. You know what I'm saying?
I've been saying that for years. Like every single animated movie Warner Brothers DC come out with, just banger after banger, kind of missed in the.
And they keep it classic too. So.
And I'm just like, where's the disconnect between these animated movies and these big Hollywood movies? Like just let's throw one up there and just make it a lot simple. Like what's the problem?
Yeah, I feel like they starting to get there. You know what I'm saying? When the last couple ones, they gonna get it. I got faith.
I mean, all right. Since we're talking about it, I don't have faith. I want this shit to end. I'm tired of superhero movies. We need to move on to the next thing in cinema history. I'm sick of it. I have superhero fatigue. I love superheroes, love the comics, love video games, animation. I'm just sick of what Marvel and DC and whatever the MonsterVerse was supposed to be and the Dark Universe was supposed to be. I'm just kind of sick of it all. I'm done with superheroes. Let us nerds just have our superheroes in our comic books. Hollywood, leave them alone.
Right. You said Hollywood, leave them alone.
like look at you had me all excited for the Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror storyline and the new multiverse saga, and now no, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
Not getting that, the James Snyder cut and everything that the DCEU was, and now and now they're bigger and better and rebranding everything, trying to compete better with Marvel, which they shouldn't have done that to begin with. Like, why would you start off with Bats v Soups and Justice League? You got to build up. Like, why didn't you just build up? Like, you should have put yourself in the competition to begin with Marvel during that time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My nerd is activated.
Yeah. Look, I have to agree. You got some good points, Hopefully somebody else pop out of there, but we know that's a long shot.
That's true.
We are ready for something new.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself, about your upbringing, and how did you get into your career of being a rapper?
Well, like I said before, I was born in East St. Louis, Illinois. We a little shortly after that, we moved to Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where the Naptown, Afghanistan come from. Raised in the projects, out there, young, doing my thing. It's kind of crazy how the music came about. So I was like a junior lifeguard at the Boys and Girls Club. So I used to be in the pool, having to monitor everybody, whatever. That's kind of how I kind of figured out what I like too. But that's a whole nother topic. But, we'd be in the pool kicking stuff or whatever. And people think I started out rapping, but I actually didn't start out rapping. I just, kind of being goofy, started making like little sounds and stuff. And I actually used to beatbox. So, I would be making these sounds, beatboxing and stuff. And, one day I just, kind of was like, okay, let me try to see if I can come up with some words for this little, beat or whatever. And said it to myself. It sounded pretty dope, so I memorized it, started adding a little bit more and more to it. And I don't know what was in me that day, but I was at the pool one day and, we all kicking it, wrestling around in the pool. And, I got everybody's attention and I kind of busted it out and everybody's reaction was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So I'd never forget, what that did to me, you know what I'm saying? Just to be able to get people's attention, recite and get, my little words off and stuff like that. It did something to me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what brought me to music. And, over the years, kind of was more of a producer. Like I said, I kind of started out beatboxing and stuff like that. So back in Indiana, I was known as Clown Face, you know what I'm saying? Surly such and such. These are some of the titles, you know what I'm saying, that people know me by still to this day. But they know me more so as a producer. I was like the beat man. I was the person that everybody went to underground outside of the main person, the main, the top dog of the city, on paper,
Right.
I was that underground person that everybody knew, to come fuck with me on the, excuse my French, come mess with me, on the music. So, people were like, they would just, after a while, I kind of shut that down because people will rob you, try to take what you got and whatever. So I kind of just shut down after trying so many times to build a studio, record my music. Before I can even get it out, I'm getting robbed again. So, I kind of shut down and I moved to Georgia, That's what I kind of moved here for, was for music. But, being a father, you know what I'm saying, raising a boy at that, and wanting to do some of the things I wanted to do, it was kind of, complicated. So not just that, but, I can't be no broke dude out here, So it's always been hustle, work, whatever. So I kind of got, stuck in that because I came down here, no friends, no family. Kind of just me. I think I had like $3,500 and I paid out 3 months of rent. That's all I had when I came here. No family or nothing. And I kind of, made it happen. So I've been here going on 11 years, So kind of just been work up until about 2020. I decided I wanted to drop the music and kind of come out, come out my shell, come out the closet in general with it, just like that. I did it with my first project. A lot of people, kind of guessing and trying to figure out things, but, weren't able to. For those people, that's who I kind of put it out there like that for them. And ever since then, I kind of been pushing for the music. Ended up having a bad deal, catching a bad deal along the way. They kind of sat on me for a couple years where, they had me remove all my music from the platform. So all my fan base, they kind of just fell out. So I'm kind of right now, I'm just kind of just trying to pick up, let everybody know I am back serious, back active with it, and just kind of just doing my thing. I ain't really trying to go along the guidelines of what people telling me, oh, do this or don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't say that. Don't be like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of just trying to do me, doing music. You know what I'm saying? Genuinely. And I know that the message and, the point I'm trying to get across, I feel like it ain't really nobody else that can do it. So that's why I'm still doing it. You know what I mean?
Right. So let's backtrack a little bit because you said a lot and it's a lot to unpack there. So let's just start to unpack a lot of what you said. So you moved to Atlanta to pursue your career in music, but you only had $3,500 to your name with your son, and you didn't know anyone down here. That's was it only for the music? There had to be something else that drove you to come down to Atlanta in that type of situation.
Well, first off, my son wasn't with me. I just used to get him for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like the atmosphere. Like I went to, my first big trip was to San Francisco. I took a trip to San Francisco with a group of people, kicked it down there for a week. I came down here for like 3 or 4 days. And one of the things that really drew me here was it was like, dang, like Indiana, anybody know Indiana, you can't go to certain clubs, where it's like people from different sides of town. You know, it's always gonna be some fighting going on, somebody getting killed. You know, if you're in that type of club, you know, the girls don't know how to act. Let's just say that. So, you know what I'm saying? It's always some drama, whatever, whatever. But when I came here, it was just like, wow, it's festivals, there's so many things, so many black people getting together, and it wasn't no confrontation, no fatalities. It was just a beautiful thing to see. And then two, it wasn't like I come from a monkey see, monkey do area. You know, and just talking to people here, it was just like so many people from different places and different goal sets. You know, it was like everybody I talked to was in college and, you know, was going for different things. It wasn't like one person want to be a mechanic, everybody want to be a mechanic. Or one person want to be a nurse, everybody want to be a nurse. So that's what attracted me to Georgia.
Growing up black, let's just be honest. Growing up black, you know, Atlanta's the mecca of not only blackness but hip hop, especially in the South. And you wanting to do music, obviously, is something to drive you down here, like you said. Did you research Atlanta and the music scene and the stuff that goes on here? Because you said it was like all copacetic and we had festivals and stuff. I grew up in Atlanta all my life. Did you not? Rapper after rapper, underground, big, small, murders left and right, the violence, everything. Atlanta is a very special place, but Atlanta is still Atlanta at the end of the day. Were you, and I'm getting to another point with this, but were you aware of Atlanta before you decided to come here?
Yeah, I was very aware of, you know, where I was, you know, coming to, the dangers and all that. But, you know, like I said, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. If anybody know Indianapolis, Indiana, you know, I mean, if you know, you know. So and it's not that, but I'm a God-fearing man, you know what I'm saying? I step on faith. So it was just something said go. So I just kind of left and went, you know what I mean? So I really wasn't concerned or worried about that. And, you know, it's like one of them type of things, real recognized real. When you're a real one, you can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be recognized.
Now, you mentioned a bunch of other things that we're going to get into a little bit. So you brought up your sexuality. You mentioned that you came out the closet, and you're using your sexuality in your music career. How does your sexuality inspire you musically, and how is the community accepting of you? Because that's a big topic right there.
Really, honestly, I don't know how they are accepting me. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how the community is. They, you know, they kind of shady. They kind of, you know, slick fake with it. So, you know, they ain't really gonna start supporting until later. I'm already aware of this. Like, as far as, you know, my sexuality and music, you know what I'm saying? I'm bisexual. So it's a lot of things to talk about on both ends. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things that people don't want to touch on. You know what I mean? The reason why I touch on that side of my sexuality because I feel like nobody else is doing it. And I feel like, you know, masculinity is starting to be washed up, you know, due to because you have, you know, you do have other, you know what I'm saying, LGBT rappers and stuff like that. But they flamboyant. I'm just gonna be real. They real, you know, girlified. And you know, a lot of what they talk about is basically what the females is talking about and stuff. You know, whatever. So it's basically very repetitive to me. So I feel like nobody's really doing what I'm doing, you know? And I feel like it's important to have that masculinity, you know, regardless of what, you know, because we thinking about the youth, you know, at the same time. I mean, it is what it is. It's, you know, it's a part of, you know, the world. It's a part of, you know, human being, whatever, however you want to put it. So in that sense, you know, thinking of you as a father, you know, I think of my son, if he was to choose something like that and stuff like that, you know, not to have just one thing to look at, you know what I'm saying, or reference to. So I feel like the whole community and stuff like that, I feel like the masculinity part of the community is starting to be washed away, you know, due to that.
Yeah, again, so much to unpack. I going into this, I did a lot of research. I studied you and your music, and not only you, but the industry in itself. And you're not the first out rapper that's clear. There's, others we can name throughout history. Currently, Lil Nas X. There's Caution. There was a bunch of other people throughout history we can go back and name. There's some stuff I'm going to bring up too, like that pink teeth thing I remember from the early 2000s or the late 2000s, and just fucking just say it. Homophobia in general, not only within the black community but within the hip hop community. So I'm just gonna just ask the question that I'm sure everybody's asking. You are a rapper, you are into rap, and you are bisexual, and you, like you said, you are masculine. Why out yourself as a bisexual rapper and let your audience know of your sexuality and what you're doing when you could just be a straight passing rapper?
Well, I mean, shoot, that's basically what even though outside looking in, it probably looked like, that's the main focus. But, you got to think about all the years of build up. It was just a lot of stuff I had to say. But like I said, I make music for everybody. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to be put in a box. And, and just like I was going back, I know I ain't the first rapper to do it and stuff, but, they all bottoms. I'm going to just be straightforward. They all bottoms. So, ain't no top did it, no real top did it. So I feel like it's important.
Okay. Do you think the rap and hip hop community, both the profession and the industry and the community that supports it, is ready for more openly out LGBTQ rappers, whether you're gay, bi, pan, whatever?
Well, I feel like they ain't ready. They really ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm where I'm at with it. But, I'm just being real, I'm getting a little up in age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really focused on fame per se. You know what I'm saying? I'm just focused on the music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just focused on the music right now. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if, people accept it or, if the industry accepts it and stuff like that, I feel like I'm going to get heard one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot to say, and I feel like a lot of people can relate at the end of the day. So
again, there's so much stuff to go. I don't know what direction to really go in because it's a lot. It's a lot. You're right by so many things, and you shouldn't have to hide who you are. With that said,
somebody got to break the ice. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I'm so tired of people talking about, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I'm saying, talked to some people in the industry. They gave me their input. They told me the same thing. Like, they don't recommend me, you know what I'm saying, put my sexuality out there, just making people go research and find out on their own. Which I've listened to their advice and stuff like that. And, some of my music and stuff is not going in the same direction anymore. Like, I'm talking about other topics and stuff, to kind of, push away from that, not being so raunchy, you know what I'm saying? It's so out there with the music. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be who I am. I'm still going to represent for the community at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm part of the community.
Right.
Well, the front, and it's like, who gonna check me? You know what I'm saying? So
right. So you mentioned masculinity and femininity within the gay community, especially the black gay community, especially within the black gay rap community. It's very small and niche. It's like 5 of y'all that people know of, and then so many more that are DL and underground that people don't know about.
Again, they all bottoms. Even the ones that's DL and stuff like that in the industry, they all bottoms. Let's be real. I'm just that's my main point. Is like, I feel like immediately when I'm gonna let you say what you're gonna say.
What do you mean by they're all bottoms for those who are watching who may not understand that?
Well, let me see the best way to put this. They are more they take more of the female role in the bedroom. And I feel like that's also something that's ruined, outside looking in. Because it's like, as a man, immediately, you know what I'm saying, especially for women and stuff like that, outside looking in, they automatically assume that you like or, you're doing a certain thing when it comes to. But, for everybody, it ain't the same. You know what I mean? So I feel like it get misconstrued a lot. And it's important, to push that point, because people get it messed up all the time.
So I've listened to a lot of your music, and you say that people have told you not to put yourself out there. not to do this, not to do that. I've heard your music. You putting a lot out there. There's that
That
one
was
song I was
before
listening.
this was before those conversations for sure. But
Okay.
but definitely I'm changing it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing something different. You know what I mean? I've actually been on Afrobeat stuff really tough lately. You know what I mean? And I've been dealing with a lot of relationship stuff. So, I kind of been in my feelings. So they've been helping that.
Again, this like you're saying so much. You're saying some wild shit, but it needs to be said. I'm just like you're being honest. It needs to be said.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
from
I'm always going to be raw and uncut, man. I mean, that's just me.
okay. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I prefer that. I'm familiar enough with this rap game in Atlanta in so many different ways that I'm not going to bring up here on this podcast. But oh boy, I want to one day. But I've heard things, I know things, I've seen things, and you're saying stuff that's striking the chord that I've literally have seen myself because of what was going on during the time. And I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, and I want to bring up this point, the masculinity and the femininity issue, because especially within the black gay community, that seems to be such a hot button topic, not only within the community itself, but how people perceive you. Like in this society, if you are a gay man, you're automatically stereotyped as to be sassy, zesty, feminine, and that's not all of us. That's not all of us. You're a gay man. I'm a gay man. We're all different. Like black people, we all come in different shapes, colors, and sizes, and flavors of the rainbow. Apparently, you're saying something that many people have been thinking, and I kind of agree with you on the one hand. Yes, we do need masculine gay male energy out there, if that makes sense. Not to sound misogynist or toxic, but growing up, I'm a millennial, I'm almost 40. Growing up in the media, gay people were either portrayed to be girly or feminine or like villains or bad guys, or sluts and whores. And it was never just what I thought I saw myself as a black gay man, like someone who's just like to watch football and drink a beer.
And that's
He
what
watch,
pushed
watch
most.
some
And
anime.
that's what pushed most of us in a box. That's where you get the whole DL thing and all that from. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no area for those type of people because it's not seen. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not accepted. It's not a thing at all. You know what I'm saying? For somebody, I feel like it's okay to be gay and still be that nigga. Like, I mean, what do you mean? That's why I don't know. So, but me personally, being I like both sides and stuff like that. That's why it might be different for others, but I just know me, and yeah.
I can't even like really name any like black gay men that fit the traits that you're describing that are out there publicly, where people know about them and they're a public figure. There are a few. There are some actors, maybe there are some athletes, but they're not that many. But it seems like in this society, and there's more I can go back with what you just said, but it seems like in this society, it's okay if you're gay unless you're black, because then it's so much other stuff going on there within the black community and how black community treats gay people and homophobia, the
Mm-hmm.
church, like you said, how just the black community view men and how men should be. Man can't do shit. Like you can't, like I don't detoxify myself on so much stuff. Like the stuff that people have told me that they consider, and I'm probably gonna get demonetized, but whatever, for saying that stuff is gay, it's crazy. Like literally had my father and my cousins and my best friends, all straight people, saying it's gay to wash your legs in the shower and wipe your ass, and I'm like, what? You have shit in your ass because you think it's gay?
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I've had those conversations. The shit that straight people have told me and what they think about gay people and the things they think is gay and why they don't do it, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Mm-mm. I hear it all the time too, because motherfuckers don't be realizing they mess. They talking to somebody that rock like that too. You know what I'm saying? So you never really know who you talk to, whatever, whatever. That's another reason why I'm doing what the fuck I'm doing, just so people know. Like, yeah, you never know. who you might be dealing with or talking to, you know?
I agree, and that kind of brings me back to full circle to this whole like growing up not having a masculine black gay role model type
Mhm.
of rhetoric. You touched on something that I was going to get into, but we're going to do it here. The reason why, especially bisexual men, why gay men, especially black men, who are within the LGBT community, isolate themselves and are standoffish and are not accepted is because we haven't seen it. You know, like I said earlier, if you come out as gay, people automatically stereotype you and perceive you to be one way versus how you actually are. And, you know, they don't,
Then,
that's all they see.
then you
That's
got to
like
think about what you
95% of
said
the
earlier too. How black families and stuff, how they treat, you know.
right,
Well, I ain't gonna say all because you know I was blessed to have a family that accepted me regardless. But you know, it's not like that for everybody. So when they get pushed away from their family, who do they have to go to? You feel what I'm saying? So if they
right,
running towards that or somebody that can understand that, you feel what I'm saying? Most of the time, that's what it is. It's gonna be the feminine stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be that, and it's like choose a side. You feel what I'm saying? And when you can't choose a side, you just kind of gotta go with the punches so nobody don't suspect. Because I was that same person. You know what I mean? I
right.
was the same person. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, kept a girl. You know all that. You know, I just decided, hey, I'm about to just do me.
But with that said,
I still get pussy. Don't get it twisted. I still get pussy.
but with that said, so you bring up another good point. So within the heterosexual community, straight people, you're bisexual. You're attracted to women, but a lot
Yeah.
of women, especially black women, they think anything bisexual, anything pansexual, anything close to the rainbow is in the rainbow, and they're not understanding the spectrum of sexuality. I can't believe I'm saying that, but you know, the spectrum of sexuality. So, as a bisexual man, obviously, you let men and women know what your sexuality is before you hook up with them, and I'm sure you get it from both sides because
I feel like it depends on the person. You feel what
okay,
I'm saying? Because once you open up and expose that much about you about yourself to a woman, what is she gonna do? She gonna start observing everything about you. So if she get the essence of you know something that she may you know dislike, of course it's gonna be deal off. It's gonna be a turn off. But you know, if you ain't giving off that energy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just keep it real. When you're a thoroughbred and you real about, you know, what you do, then you know, you know, it's like, what's up? You know?
okay,
Yeah.
okay, and let's flip
And
the
my daddy blessed me. I mean, shit. Man, he blessed me. Just
okay,
keep it real.
okay.
Mm.
I don't know what to say about that, but let's flip the script. Let's flip the coin. What about when you hook up with men and they find out you're bisexual and that whole rhetoric, especially like with how dating and hooking up in the gay community is so convoluted now.
Well, most of the time, either on either end, I just reassure them I don't mix the two. It's either one or the other. So I actually prefer men over women. So you know, majority of the time if I'm dealing with men, I'm not fooling with any women. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a nice gap in between if I do decide, you know what I'm saying, fool with a woman.
Right. So let me ask you this. Why do you prefer men more than women?
Um shoot. It's just a natural thing, kinda sorta. But it's like kind of like on the mental part of things and the emotional side of things. We know women can be very, very emotional and extra and stuff like that.
So for
You
dudes,
know, and dudes can too. You know what I'm saying? The catty ones, but for the most part, you know you should be able to find somebody you know with a man's mentality that should be able to understand when you hit the man stage. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you could be 35 and still a little boy. You know what I mean? So
no. Mm.
once you hit the man stage, you know what I'm saying, you should be able to compromise and, you know, cope with situations and come to common grounds in any situation. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
the whole statement "man up" in general, So that's why I prefer, men over women.
Okay,
Because
so
women are softer. Women are softer. You know what I'm saying? They, sometimes take better care of themselves and shit.
okay,
It's a challenge. It can be a challenge finding the right ones.
okay. So I'm gonna ask a question on being psychic. I'm predicting what the comments are gonna be in this video. Um, I'm,
I can just imagine, boy. I
I
can't
can,
wait to go back and look and see.
yeah, this one's gonna be an interesting one here. Putting myself, yourself, all that out there. Let's go. But all right, I'm just assuming somebody's gonna put in the comments, but you're a top. Why, having sex with a man versus having sex with a woman, it's all kind of the same thing to you. Like, what's the difference? Whatever.
Actually, it ain't. I'm gonna just be real. Pussy is a beautiful thing. Um, just it's something that I rediscovered and stuff like that. I'm just gonna put it to you like that, and not too proud of it, but I used to be on the little dating apps, the little quick little hookup apps, and them goddamn the trans men. They be on niggas, boy. You hear me? When they see something they like, they be on you. So that's how it happened. That's how it got rediscovered. And since then, it's just kind of been like, okay, like yeah, I'm on that. I got a whiff of it. But it's not really the same. I could just say the vibes is what's different. Uh, I like submission. A lot of women and stuff, they not as submissive. You know what I'm saying? And I know that if you put them in a certain type of submissive, mode or whatever, that's when they get clingy. And knowing my sexuality, I can't afford for them to get too clingy. So they can only get half, But like I said, it's really a big difference sexually and stuff. It's all about the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned before, women are softer. More. They take care of themselves better half of the time. But it's hit or miss with them too sometimes.
Since you brought it up, I'm just asking, why not be exclusively into trans men or trans women?
I feel like dating a trans man and stuff like that, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Actually, it's something that I've considered, but it's also something a little bit intimidating too. Because with trans men and stuff like that, they love. I'm learning that they love men so much. The ones that actually still want dick, they love men so much. They are doing everything in their power to be a man. So they, constantly want to be in competition. You know what I'm saying? So I don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the only manly man around. These parts. So I'm not one to be dominated and stuff like that. I'm not saying that I'm controlling or anything like that, but I'm more so a compromiser, go with the flow type person. I don't like drama, I don't like competition. And when it comes to dating anyway, there shouldn't be no competition.
We're talking about it, so let's just talk about it. Who is someone you would be interested in, whether it be sexually or for business or for pleasure or for a relationship? Who is someone you would seek after in that regard?
What are you talking about in general?
Yeah, in general.
Shoot, it's a couple people.
Okay.
They very many and stuff like that because I really just been focusing on my money for real.
That's what's most important.
Yeah, I just been focusing on my money. I'm just now getting to the point to where I feel like I'm mentally and emotionally able to date again. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because of some, little couple situations I dealt with. So
You didn't really answer the question, but that's cool.
you said I ain't answered the question.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this like somebody in the industry that I would like to work with, do business with too? Is we talking about that?
Yeah, all of it in general.
Oh, okay.
Relationship, in business, whatever.
Dude, I would love right now. I feel like who feeling my energy, like we on the same page, but just on two different levels. Like I love Suki. I would love to work with her right now. I'm from St. Louis, so Sexy Red, I would love to work with her right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Outside of them, if I was, just on my hip hop stuff and stuff, some of my favorites are still doing it. Like even though I know it's a long shot, Missy. She's still busting bars out here, what I'm saying? Get her on a nice little dance, what I'm saying? Something, because I be making them twerking songs. So shit, I can't think of nobody else right off here. Oh yeah, Flo Millie. Love Flo Millie. Shoot, I would love to do a song with Nicki, but I don't feel like Nicki fuck with the community like that. Shit, even though I know the nigga wouldn't do it, being that a lot of people refer to me as like the LGBT Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I love Gucci, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I listen to. I rock with Gucci. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to, do some work with him. Outside of that, I can't think of nobody right offhand.
Okay. So again, we're doing things full circle. You talked about you and your sexuality and what you like and what you don't like. And now that we bringing it back to music again, I want to just bring up the topic of homophobia in the black community and especially within the rap community. Like you just said, someone like Gucci may not want to work with you, but me and you also know a lot of these rappers, especially like the bigger ones, the rap game's been the biggest DL trade secret that's not really a secret since I've been a kid. So many rumors.
I remember a lot of incidents that happened with me when I was younger. People shooting deals and stuff like that I had to turn down, even still to this day, because I'm not one of those. You know what I'm saying? I don't mix business with pleasure, for one.
A lot of them do.
I'm not about to sell my soul. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not about to do all that. I mean, it is what it is. I just had to turn down a deal like recently because, they thought that they was going to get some type of sexual out of me. And this is supposed to be a straight man in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So I already know what time it is. If I have to stay underground and, work my way to build up that way, that's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying?
But we both know that's kind of how the inside of the industry work. Gay, straight, like, you gotta do a little something strange for some change. Like, just being real, that's kind of the industry from the longest time.
Yeah, been that way for a while, but I guess I'm just not one of that. I just can't fix myself to do it. You know what I mean? I just can't do it.
Okay. Okay, but what about the perception of, like, again, within the black community, especially within the hip hop community, homophobia is so rampant and prevalent within our own community. Just like we still in the year of our Lord 2025, it's still not okay to be a black gay man, even in Atlanta sometimes. Been here all my life, and it's you still gotta watch your back and be careful who you're talking to, but it's still that perception of, oh, you gay, or this is gay or whatever. And here you are, literally a walking oxymoron. You're a black man, you're masculine, you're bisexual, you believe in God, a lot of things. You're blowing a lot of people's brains right now. You a unicorn. That's weird to say. Do you feel like that's
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I just like situations like that. So you're saying, oh, you got to watch what you talk to, and stuff like that. Watching your back, like that's crazy. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like eventually something is gonna have to change. You know what I'm saying?
right?
I'm not saying that I'm that huge, big change, but I might just be the starting foundation of it. You feel what I'm saying? Like real shit. I really feel that way.
Because I'm gonna be honest, like, I've searched for it. There's not a lot of masculine out rappers. Most of them, the ones that I found, were DL, and then they came out, and then they're not really masculine.
Exactly. As soon as they come out and stuff, the girl gonna come out every time. It's gonna come out every time. You gotta think about it when they younger and stuff like that, they around their family and stuff, they gotta hold their composure. But as soon as they get loose, they twirling and Jay setting and voguing and shit. You know what I'm saying? So they nails and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even with some of these quote unquote straight rappers, like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas painting their nails, wearing big loop earrings and stuff, certain type of dresses and all that type of stuff. Like that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll turn around and try to, knock somebody for me for expressing my sexuality just because I like a certain thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But badger people just, like this nigga's literally wearing a dress. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I was gonna bring it up. Let's talk about that. So I remember a couple of years ago, especially like I'm a huge football fan. I watched the NFL. The whole Michael Sam thing back in the mid 2010s, and then like now to like the 2020s and stuff. Straight male NFL players. Cam Newton, a couple of years ago, he got flagged for I think wearing a dress or wearing some not straight black man clothes and him expressing himself, but he's still a straight black man. He got money. He dressed however he wanted to dress. And he came out with some stuff. There was a couple other people like just getting flack for how they're coming out and dressing, whether it's Jaden Smith, everybody know, even though he is of the community, people was ragging on him for just how he dressed and how he comes off. Again, I'm predicting the comments of this video, of this episode. People are gonna ask, what is your big deal with femininity within the man, especially within the black gay community? Basically call you misogynist because like you're giving off so much straight male energy vibes. The stuff you're saying is the shit that I heard growing up from my family.
Well, this is just genuinely me. And I don't have no problems with femininity. Excuse me, just got these braces and stuff. Certain words I can't say right now. But I'm a little southern. But but I have no problem with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't even that. It's just more so I'm me. You feel what I'm saying? And I realize it's not that many of me. I feel like, and think back to the top and bottom things. I think bottoms will agree. Like we almost at the top. Like I need some help. You know what I'm saying? I need some help out here. You hear me? For real. Like no cap. So I feel like, they will really agree with me, you know what I'm saying, when I say like, the community is really losing that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's starting to be out of the norm. You know what I mean? It's really starting to be out of the norm. I don't know if it's just because what's considered popular or what's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so many things that's different now. Like it's just like, yeah. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. That's my take on it.
Well, and it's so weird that you're saying that. Like we're running out of tops and we're running out of the the masculine energy within the gay community. Like one thing that I've seen from whether it's gay men, whether they're femme, bottom, verse, whatever, or women, black women, is this craving, this thirst, this yearn for this mythical black man that's all these things and they check all these boxes. Basically, what you are, rather gay, straight, or whatever.
See, and you say that, and I would agree. But see, when you're open about it, it kills the whole persona. Because, like I said, I used to be that person. You feel what I'm saying? That was hiding. I could, if I wanted to, I could still do it. But, that was, kind of low key, didn't want nobody to know, wouldn't meet no certain places, wouldn't go out with you, none of that. Like, strict about it too. But, like I said, when you open about it, you live in your truth, that, it kills the whole facade of it for a lot of them. Just like I tell dudes all the time, you will never be able to encounter a straight man. You know what I'm saying? If you encounter somebody, you feel like you're introducing that man to something, more than likely he already was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I be telling people all the time, he more than likely was already like that. He more likely had been already doing that, married or not. And I'm gonna just put this out there. I can say that in my sexual experience, especially just playing around and stuff since I've been in Georgia or whatever, I can say married men slaughter the open gay man bottoms hands down when it comes to cleanliness, prepping, and all that, presentation, all that. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the house with their wife. So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever get it twisted.
Man, the comments is gonna be off the chain on this video. I cannot wait for all of this to come down. Jesus Christ. All right, so I got a lot more questions to ask you. How much more time you got?
I got some time.
Do you think by you living in your truth and you being who you are is going to actually inspire other men like you to be comfortable in their sexuality, regardless of what it is, and have them live their truth and be masculine and queer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like I'm gonna do that for a lot of individuals. Absolutely.
Okay. And with that said, where in the gay community do you see masculinity at? Like, it's somewhere, it has to be there somewhere. Everybody ain't like femme and twerking and blowing rainbows out their ass.
I feel like it's actually all across the board. You know what I'm saying? You just don't see it as much. It's not really that much light shed, on it. But you can be a masculine bottom. You know what I'm saying? You have some just like you got film tops. You got, it really can go both ways, but it's not I feel like it's not a norm thing to showcase it. You know what I'm saying? It's not popular where you showcasing, you know what I'm saying, that you just another man. You know what I'm saying? You just
Right.
happen to be on that side of the fence, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? A
Right.
lot of people get things misconstrued. It's like I'm still who I am outside of what I do in the bedroom. That's the whole point of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just judge a person just because they like a certain thing. Sometimes it's not something that we chose. And also, just put this out there. I had my mama named Cookie. Anybody from Indiana, they already know my mama don't play that. Ain't nobody touch me, period. You feel what I'm saying? And this is not something that I chose per se. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like it was just always natural for me. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta think of some people that were touched when they was younger and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, and gained a liking to it, or, felt like, it was okay, or felt like, it was supposed to happen, you know what I mean?
Right.
So don't judge a person just based off of what they do, you know what I'm saying, for their sexual needs. It's crazy, it's petty, you know what I mean? And then also, to the gay community, you don't have to always wear your sexuality on your sleeve. You know what I'm saying? For the ones that's, if you want to be a woman, fully fully convert over. If you want to be a partial, fully be a partial. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. You feel what I'm saying? Just because it's something that is accepted right now. Be your motherfucking self.
I'm glad you brought up the whole you was born this way, because in the beginning of the interview you kind of made it sound like you chose to be this way. And I was going to bring up the whole nature
Oh, no.
nurture aspect of it. So you believe you were born bi. You like both. You're mostly attracted to men, but you like both.
I believe so. Because, I mean, what else could it be? Like, just like every, you got eyes to see. Like, okay, I like that right there. You know what I mean? That's just basically what it was. I just acted on it. Some people don't never act on it. It's just a curiosity, And then sometimes, like the saying is, curiosity killed the cat. They curious for so long, then they finally, get finessed by the right person, then they business out, and now they don't want to do it no more.
With that said, you mentioned you alluded to a story back at the Boys and Girls Club. Something happened there, and if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But obviously, something happened, and you found out a lot about yourself. Being a lot.
Well, I mean, I feel like that should be self-explanatory. Okay, so and you be in the pool and stuff like that. Everybody's wet. Everybody by trunks, all that. They stick to your body firmly. So that's what I learned, that niggas got ass. You know what I'm saying? And hips and all that too. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just women that have them features that I like. Women have them similar features as well. Men have ass and hips too.
Yeah, no comment, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So okay, like you said, something happened and you knew, but obviously, like you said,
Well, nothing that happened like that. It was just kind of like a realization, me looking around and like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? Well, shit, like, why can't I stop looking?
right. Okay, so when did you figure out the whole what you are within the gay community as far as your sexuality? Like you say, you're a top.
Yeah,
How did you know that?
I've always been that way. I just always been that way. because I mean that's what I'm attracted to. I've never been attracted to dick per se. There's never been attraction for me. You know what I'm saying? Even still to this day. So it just was kind of straightforward with it. I just was curious about it and shit like that. I just just like I like titties. I'm a titty man and stuff. I like big titties. I like, a dude with a nice chest, and you know what I'm saying, all that too.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just being honest.
That's what I want. I want you to be honest. Like, this is for people to get to know you. This is like I'm gonna admit, this is part of the wildest interview I've ever had, but I'm enjoying it. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna put it on the internet.
Oh no. But not the wildest one. Oh man.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely the wildest interview I've had. And I just had an interview with my homegirl, and she went off the rails too about some political stuff, but that actually ended up being a good interview. Not saying that this isn't. This is a great interview, but it is completely out of left field. A lot of it. But it needs to be said. Like you said, you're talking about a lot of things, a lot of issues within the Black gay community that need to be spoken about. A lot of people feel the way that you feel and have the same ideas, and because of how political or how PC it is to be a masculine man, whether you're gay or straight, you're asking for trouble when you present yourself and say certain things like I'm a masculine top, and people have a lot of opinions to say about that. So having this platform to express yourself and not explain yourself, but to just let people get to know you, I think is a good idea. And you're saying a lot of stuff that people need to hear and we need to talk about. So
I ain't scared. I want them to know. I want y'all niggas to know what's up with me, because ain't no shame in my game. You know what I'm saying? You only get one life to live. Y'all see these grades? I'm 38 out here. I'm 38 hot right now too. So you only get one life to live, and I'm gonna live mine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let nobody waste my time and waste my energy on people. I ain't doing that no more. So it's just like you either accept, or move out the way, make space. You hear me?
Gotcha. So we're gonna move on to the other part of the interview where we're actually gonna talk about the music itself. Because you have some songs, you have some albums. I've listened to a couple of them. While we were over the last couple of weeks, getting to know each other, you mentioned some things that I took some notes on that I kind of wanted to bring up and talk about. So let's talk about the music itself, the tracks, the beats, the lyrics. You mentioned one thing that I really want to get into, that you make music for gay people, for straight people, and people have told you to, go easy on the gay stuff. Just make people for the general audience. Make people make the music to make their butts dance and jiggle, and just leave it at that. How does it make you feel? And I know you've expressed this already, so I'm just asking another way. But like, you said that you were locked up with your music and things, and you couldn't produce stuff, and you couldn't promote stuff, and now you're starting back, and the music that you are putting out there, it's not gonna say all over the place, but it's definitely vulgar. It's definitely like the most ratchet gangster hood shit that you ever heard of, but it's just a nigga twerking in the background, and you talking about some stuff that maybe people know about, maybe people don't know about it, but they know about it. I got some questions for you. And then I even told you, it's that one lyric that had me in my own feelings. Like, how the fuck did you know that? How the fuck are you watching me?
Which lyric was that?
I'm not gonna say it on the because that's gonna tell too much about me. So I'm not gonna put that on my channel. But I'll text it to you.
Okay.
Or maybe you just found out in person. Who knows? But yeah, let's talk about the music. There's that one song that Butt Banger.
Butt Bully.
Yeah, but there you go. Butt Bully.
I knew you was gonna say that song. What about it?
Man,
it was a lot, wasn't it?
It was a lot, but it was like this is like classic trap music meets my wet dreams. Like I don't understand what's happening here. Like this is the stuff that people be banging driving down 85, but instead of pussy is bussy.
Right. Hey, it is what it is. Yeah, but that particular song, I mean, it's a demeanor. Like I feel like around that time when I wrote that song, I was in a certain headspace. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of over dating in general, and then sexually and stuff like that. I've always been like more so like a pleaser. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm always focusing on the other person getting what they need out of the
I'll say
situation.
that.
So I kind of just was like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? I need to start getting what I need out of it. I like submission. I like, you know what I'm saying? Sexually, I'm a visual and an audio person. So it's like, I need to see certain things. I need to hear certain things. So I'm going to start doing, that to get them reactions. And when a lot of people start, hear butt bully, they like, oh, you just talk about doing some aggressive stuff or just dominating, but it's more than that. So I wanted to elaborate about all the song. So
I mean,
no,
it's a lot to it. Like it's a sexual fantasy. It's somebody Tuesday night. Just depending on how you want to go. But more importantly, I feel like it perfectly describes like hookup culture in the black gay community right now as we speak. That
yeah,
it's just about fucking and doing the nasty, being as freaky as possible.
Sex sales.
Sex sales. We
That
live
is
in
definitely
Atlanta.
like it's
Atlanta's a wild
definitely
place in the gay community, and
that.
you can find a lot of stuff if you want. If you looking for it down here in the A. If you
Yeah, you can 32 flavors.
Atlanta got 67 and then some. So
Yeah.
um I hate to because I lived in Atlanta all my life, so I was born and raised here. So what I'm about to say, you know what? I can't say it now that I'm saying it out loud. A lot of the stereotypes about gay men in Atlanta apply to a lot of gay men in Atlanta, present company included. Talking about myself, I guess, but I've been there, done that. I've been there, done that. But Bully, that's an interesting song. But what was the response from the community like when they hear that type of song, especially like the black gay?
It's crazy that you asked that too because I feel like the feedback that I received on it, especially from the people that I got feedback or that I know, they love the song. Actually, it turned them the hell on.
Or the hell out, depending on how you want to go.
Yeah, it's actually got me in a situation like I was speaking about working with that person in the industry. They was aware of where I was going with my music. They heard my music and stuff or whatever. But them hearing the music and actually seeing me in person and vibing with me in person, it did something to them. So when I say I'm was basically sexually assaulted in that situation with them hearing them lyrics and vibing with me in person. So most of the time it turned them on. For the women, I really didn't, what I'm saying, I really get no feedback from the women that much. And the ones I did, close friends, they just said, oh, you nasty, you nasty, that's what I always hear. But I mean, it is what it is.
Now, what about the music you make just for the general audience, the straight people? Let's just say that. Do you feel like you have to do it just to kind of be more general, or
No,
do you feel like you're doing the music
I feel like, honestly, I don't feel like I have to do it. I don't feel obligated, but I feel like it's necessary. And I say that because, I have nieces, you know what I'm saying, lady friends, straight friends. Most of my closest friends are straight. And I want them to be able to support too, even though they do support what I'm doing and they still fuck with my music. I want them to be able to have something they can listen to, you know what I'm saying, and put on play, at the barbecue or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I
right?
want them to have something they can rock to as well. So I feel like it's relevant, to have that type of music that everybody can listen to. You know what I'm saying? It got to be PG-13 for everybody.
Right, right. But like a lot of your music is not PG-13.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me ask you, you sent me
There's very few songs right now that you can get some PG-13 out of. So that's why I'm about to push out, the new material and stuff like that, just so people won't think that that's all I talk about or that's all I can do. You know what I'm saying?
gotcha.
I kind of got into the Afrobeat stuff, showing my versatility. I ain't really no singer, but I can carry a note. So I've been messing with the auto tune and shoot. People, they loving it, boy. They loving it, especially this one that I'm about to drop. You know what I'm saying? I let a few people hear it already, so they definitely loving it. They loving the vibes.
Again, while we was setting up the interview and everything, you sent me some video clips of you performing at events like New Orleans Pride and different festivals like that. What is the energy like when you're on stage and people are vibing to your music, regardless of what the song is, but they're just vibing to you performing? Do you perform for more LGBTQ crowds, or you just get whatever gig you can get at this point?
I'm a rock wherever I go. Um, right around that time, like right around 2020 when I first, came out and stuff like that with the music, I was more so focusing on, them type of things, pride and stuff like that. Nowadays it's just like, okay, if it's a slide and it's worth it, I'm a step out and show out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Okay. And okay, you mentioned that you came out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Why did you come out in the first place? And what was the existential crisis or situation that led to that?
Well, like I said before, it was kind of like a build-up type thing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a lot of things that I wanted to say with the music. I had left music alone for like 7 years straight. You know what I'm saying? And it took for my mama to hit me up one day, like, "Hey, listen to this," and she was playing my music in the background. And so, at that moment, once I decided, like, man, I need to get back into this. I wanted to be 100% genuine and true to myself. So that was part of that. You know what I'm saying? And I just was at a point in my life where, I was actually engaged to a guy at the time, which was crazy, but that's a whole nother story. But, I was, I'd already been open to my child. I had already been open to my family. So it was like, who else do I owe an explanation to? Who gonna check me? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna whoop me? Because people like try to fight and all that because they don't like what you're doing or feel like you soft because of and all that. But I was just like, okay, who gonna check me? I know a lot of my the people from my hood and stuff like that had a problem, so I just wanted to get everything out the way all at the same time. That way, everybody that had a problem, I gave them a time to eliminate themselves. And the ones that want to try to be confrontational, I called them out, you know what I'm saying? And just left it at that, you know what I mean?
Do you
But
have like any kind of remorse? Because I ask myself this a lot. Like, would I be happy if I had came out sooner? Would I be happy if I had just pretended to be straight and fit in and did what they wanted me to do? Do you have
um,
remorse about that or any like hindsight 2020?
I, in a way, on a business level, I kind of do just because I know I would have been able to do so much more, so much quicker. You feel what I'm saying? Not choosing the path of exposing myself and stuff. Because outside of this, I'm still a great artist. So and sadly, this is when I decided to start putting out music professionally. This is just the era that I was in. You know what I'm saying? Before it was just kind of me doing music and mainly me producing for other people. You know what I'm saying? So it was like this is my first time putting out music professionally, and it just happened to be that. That's the only regret I have is choosing to expose myself in the beginning. But I'm just one of them type people that I kind of live on kind of like, fuck it. I ain't got no regrets. It's already out there. I'm going to leave it out there and let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? People going to accept it or not. You know what I mean?
Do you feel you would be more successful right now if you had stayed DL and just
Uh,
had more personally in the business? You were just straight rapper.
I feel like yes, because I'm right in the right place. You know what I'm saying? And I know that a lot of real rap is really it really ain't too many new artists that's real rap. You know what I'm saying? All these niggas is really fabricating. They all sound like, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's auto tune and literally sounding like, so real rap, real hip hop, you know what I'm saying, is dying. So I feel like yes, I definitely would have still, you know what I'm saying, well probably would have been a lot more, further than what I am right now. You feel what I'm saying? Because I would have never had to remove stuff off of platforms. I probably would have never had dealt with that deal that I dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things I encountered with the people, that I done got linked with in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I could have been locked in easy. But it is what it is.
Mm. Gotcha. Before we go, there is something out there in geek culture. Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. But it's a show that I'm sure you're familiar with that's right up your alley to some degree. I'm sure you're aware of this show P Valley.
P Valley.
Yeah.
Actually, I have not watched P Valley. I have only seen bits and pieces on social media.
So
Why?
essentially, P Valley is you minus, well, I don't know your personal life, but P Valley is basically just you. Except,
Interesting. I'm gonna have to check it out then. I'm gonna have to really check it out because you said that.
I mean,
People been telling me to check it out, but I never really watched it. So
oh my god, if I could send you the episodes of season 1 and 2 right now, I could. But it's basically takes place in Mississippi. It's all shot in Atlanta, but it takes place in Mississippi. It's a strip club.
yeah, I know it's about stripping and shit.
Yeah, it's definitely about stripping, but it's about more than stripping. About a lot more than stripping. Like I had homeboys that was watching. Like, oh man, look at these titties, look at these ass, look at that girl, look at her shake her ass, and then what the fuck is we watching? That was
I can
their
just imagine.
reaction. But yeah, I recommend it. Definitely check it out because it's you, except the main character ain't out. He DL, but it's an interesting watch. It talks and deals with a lot of things that we talked about in this podcast.
Okay.
So that's why I thought you've seen it because I'm like, it's right up your alley. Like masculinity in the gay community, black gay men and trans men and women, and homophobia is all there. It's perfect.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's perfect because, like, again, it's not a lot of positive black queer shows. Like, there's Noah's Ark, but then I feel like stuff like Noah's Ark is partly responsible to the whole
I seen Noah's Ark.
them epidemic, you want to call it, queer as folk.
Oh yeah, queer as folk. That's that old school shit right there.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have a black version of this. And we got Noah's Ark. And I was like, it's not quite the same. This one's more respectable. I wanted the dirty, slutty queer as folk, but for black people, and we ain't really got that. Well, and then now we got P Valley, so I guess I finally got my wish.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna check this shit out then.
Definitely. Before we end the show, because I know we've been on for a minute, but this was a good conversation. We talked about a lot of things. We had a lot to say. Is there something that we're leaving on the table that you want to discuss? Is there something you want to promote? Something close to your heart? This is your soapbox moment.
It's a lot of things close to my heart right now, but I can't
Go for it, man. Got time. I ain't got nothing to
speak on them. I can't speak on them, y'all, because boy, I just got loose. But it was some blessings that came out of it, some very great music. Like I mentioned before, my project No Time. That's my next release. This is my second Afrobeat release. This is my baby. This is what I'm about to try to push real hard this summer and stuff like that, because it's definitely giving summer vibes, island vibes, it's giving outside vibes. So, that's definitely something I want y'all to check out. Then I just released my first one, which was No Leg Room. It's on platforms or whatever. You can find me on the platforms. All you got to do is search Mookie, spelled with an exclamation point, MOOK, exclamation point E. That's on all the platforms across the board. Definitely check that one out if you don't do nothing else. And, if you're a freak, you might want to check out Too Much Booty or Butt Bully, like bro said. Definitely don't miss out on the action. You know what I'm saying? It ain't but wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? They broke the mold when they made me. So you ain't gonna get another one. So you might as well tune in now while y'all still got me young and still out here slanging and shit, you know?
Gotcha. And I want to just add, you got a couple of music videos out on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't you give the rest of your social media? Because I know you're on all the music platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. SoundCloud, I'm assuming too. I'm assuming you gotta have SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But what about just in general social media? Where's your Facebook, your Twitter,
Facebook,
other Twitter, the Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff?
well, on Facebook is Mookie the rapper, Mookie DA rapper. Shit, I don't think on fucking Instagram. I think it's the original Mookie. TikTok, I think it's official Mookie. Might be backwards the way I said it. And on Snapchat, I'm butt_bully, butt bully on Snap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's where all that extra stuff be going on, and I don't be posting no videos on there, so don't think y'all about to get on there and see no extra activity going on. You know what I mean? I don't have an OnlyFans. I have a Twitter. I think my Twitter is official Mookie or the original Mookie, something like that. But even on there, it ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't post that type of stuff. I post a picture with my drawers on, and I've been banned on Facebook for almost a year and a half later. They don't even want to see this with the drawers on. So, I can't even put it out there, y'all. I'm sorry. They gonna report me every time.
Gotcha. But before we go, one final question for you. Where did you settle on the name, or where did you come up with the name Mookie the Rapper?
See, I'm glad you asked that. It's just Mookie. People think I came up with it or it's just something I chose for myself. But actually, I didn't. Like I said, my mama called me that day when I had literally stopped messing with music for 7 years. She called me that day. She the one that pulled me back out of it. When I was younger, she was the most supportive person, you know what I'm saying, ever with my music. You know what I'm saying? She was like my top fan. Like, even though niggas wasn't supposed to be cussing, she was like, yeah, you can cuss. You know what I'm saying? And then she was also the one that came back and challenged me and said, okay, let me see you do that shit without cussing. So it's always been, you know what I'm saying, her been a fuel to my fire, you know what I'm saying, concerning music. And she named me Mookie. That's my childhood nickname. My nanny, because I did have a nanny, like I said, my mama boss, for real. But my nanny name was Mookie. And if I wasn't with my mama, I was attached to that lady. I wouldn't let her go. So, she just named me after her. You know what I'm saying? Mookie.
Gotcha. Okay. And you just carrying forward, and now here you are. But before we go, let me go ahead and do my little normal outro spiel. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Blerdkadt. I'd like to thank my special guest, Mookie, just Mookie, but rapper. But yeah, I'd like to thank you. I'm already planning the next episode I want to have you on. I'm planning something for Pride Month in June. I want to get a bunch of other queer content creators, queer professionals, whatever, and we kind of similar to what we did here, just talk about stuff and issues and our struggles and obstacles in the community and just kind of nerd out to some stuff. And but I'm gonna definitely be in contact with you for that. But for everybody else, this has been Blerdkadt. You can watch Blerdkadt on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you listen to your podcast, and soon I'll be on other places like iHeartRadio, Pandora, etc. Working on it, getting all that together. And speaking of getting things together, working on the house notes, Blerdography is official with the monetization. If you would like to support Blerdography, you can become a member of the Blerd Nation by becoming a channel member for as low as $2 a month to receive exclusive access like member-only videos, extended clips. Pretty sure I'm going to have a bunch of extended clips from this podcast. So you want to be a member to kind of get some of the stuff that I can't just put on the regular YouTube channel. And with that, I'm Mark. You can find me everywhere on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much. My other Twitter, but I don't post my stuff on that one. Lemon8 fan, what was that other one? The Chinese one that everybody went to? Xiao Shu Xin. Lemon8 and fan base, even though nobody's on fan base. Check me out there. What's up? You got something to say?
Yeah, y'all heard that shit right. Make sure y'all subscribe. So that means y'all heard what he said. He said $2 a month. So that means if you're a $2 hoe, you should still be able to afford this. Okay.
And again,
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna be good.
No, that's all right. And again, everybody check out Mookie. Check him out on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Check out his music. Check out Butt Bully. Leave in the comments. Like, I want to know what your reactions are in the comments.
We want to know how y'all feel. Let's talk about it.
And I know y'all got a lot to say about what we had to talk about, a lot of controversial topics, but leave them in the comments. I'm sure you stayed to the end because you just was glued to your screens. Leave your comments, your opinions, your hate mail, whatever. We want to know because he's coming back. He's coming back. So until next time, peace.
We geeking out loud.